Welcome back to the Rules of Engagement. We're now into the Q&A section. Got a question from Alex Thorzain. It says, tearing with the MMMM composition. I always get wrecked in max fights, even with upgrades and 80 SCVs. What am I missing? So there could be two things that you're missing. One could be that composition is a great general composition, but against certain specific compositions, it's not so great. For example, an opponent who's maxing like Broodlords and Festers, you're not going to trade well with that army. That's where you have to add in, you know, if they have a ton of Broodlords by that point, hopefully you've got Ravens, basically, or like BCs or a lot of Vikings spreading, some other type of unit, right? And same thing with Protoss, right? They have a whole ton of Colossi, you need to have a lot of Vikings, etc., etc. So that's not a bad composition in general, but against specific things, you sometimes want to mix that up a little bit. But the bigger thing, the thing that's more important, because the composition could be game specific, is that 80 SCVs it's not wrong to go to 80 SCVs. Most pro gamers don't go much past 70, sometimes 75 I've seen. But 80 is fine, all right? It's not a big difference. But what's very important to know is you don't want to sit on a max army with 80 SCVs because then you only have 120 food. And yes, you have a good amount of resources banking up to have good income. But if your opponent maxes out and they only have like 50 probes, 50 drones or whatever, their army is 150 food. So it's actually 5-4 your army. All right, and if you want to see, like, go into a unit tester and run 15 Zealots versus 12, right? That's 5-4, same thing. And you'll notice they don't have 3 Zealots left over. They actually have, you know, they're only going to lose a couple Zealots. It's 15 versus 12. They're going to take much, much better losses because they have a bigger army. And then even though you have extra economy, you have to rebuild everything. You have to rebuild a small amount. So don't sit on an army with 80 SCVs. Either be very active and constantly forcing engagements before your opponent can max, or trade off these SCVs. Go up to 80, but then when you're maxed, grab, you know, 20, 30 of them and say, go get them, boys, send them in there, let them die. Then you get a much stronger max composition. It also gives you a chance to add in more specialty units, right? You have your MMMM, your maxed out 80 SCVs, you kill off 20, 30 SCVs, you replace them with, you know, potentially maybe a lot of extra Widow Mines. Maybe a lot of extra Marauders if you're going against Ultralists. Maybe even you're trying to add in BCs, maybe Ravens, maybe Old Ghosts, maybe Vikings. Whatever it is to round out that composition and get a stronger max army. It's going to help you a little bit in those late game engagements. This wraps up this episode of Rules of Engagement. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.